6. Man Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is blue. 80 knots, thrust set. 5500. 31. Rotate.
What is up, guys? Little 55 seconds there off from the target countdown, but who cares? I couldn't wait any longer. It has been too long since I have been able to get with you guys here on a live stream. My life has just been crazy busy, man. For those of you who don't know, I'm back to work full-time, so I'm flying the line like crazy, getting preparations ready for a second child coming in here next month. So it's just been absolutely crazy. I really, really wanted to get back here with you guys live on this weekend. Hopefully the internet holds out for us. I could see it's already starting to poop out on me a little bit, but we're going to try to power through this and do the best we can. We are in the Embraer Phenom 300. Guys, this airplane, so I was sitting back a while, and I put up a poll for the commercial members saying, hey, what airplane do you want to see on next stream? And everyone wanted to see the CRJ. We're going to fly the CRJ in FS2020, don't get me wrong. But I was like, man, I just want to try something a little bit different here. Let me branch out and look at this Phenom. Well, Q8 Pilot posted a video, and his enthusiasm about the Phenom and that it got its Q8 seal of approval, I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. Now, the Phenom 300 in particular is kind of unique for me. It's I actually demoed this airplane when I was flying corporate jets back in the day. I was flying a Citation, and we were toying with the idea of purchasing a Phenom 300. So I got to take it up when a demo flight. We got to fly around a little bit. By no means am I type rated on the airplane, or do I have extensive systems knowledge, but I do have a little bit of knowledge about how the airplane works and what it's supposed to do, and its I guess task or its role as a very light jet, or not, I guess it's not a very light jet, it's just a light jet category aircraft. So I picked it up, and I'm telling you guys, I was blown away by this airplane. So we're going to get in depth. We got a little bit of longer flight, about 300 miles. We're going to be going from Monterey, California, where I did my first ever jet takeoff and landing here in Monterey, California. We're going to fly down the Gold Coast to Montgomery Field. Now, Montgomery Field down there by San Diego is a very, very short field, and it's played a big role in why we did not purchase the Embraer Phenom 300 for the guy that I was flying for. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit more en route as we talk about landing performance and things like that. But I wanted to at least take this in there and see how tight it really was, because that was kind of the preface, is it's going to be a little bit tight to go in and out of Montgomery Field. You may have to pay for San Diego landing fees or something like that. So amongst other things, we're going to take this into Montgomery. We're going to see if we can get it stopped. Definitely not going to be floating. It's a very short strip down there, less than 4,000 feet long, and I think you got a displaced threshold, so the landing distance is even closer to 3,000. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Glad to see everybody here in chat. Robert S. Sam, what is up, man? Aaron Hastings, Max Rank, Slam, Cannon, Niels Christensen, Michael R., Rex Royce. What is up, man? Rex, you got your first in-air lesson today, first time. Bring up something that an airliner. Awesome, Rex. That's good to hear it, man. Anthony Anderson, good to see you. So I'm going to have to spend more money after watching this. Look, so this airplane is expensive, guys. It's $44, but I'm going to just... And I paid for it, my own money. I'm not, this isn't a promotional video or anything like this. This is, I went out, I purchased this airplane, and I have a hard time with light jets in the sim. I don't feel they capture what they actually fly like in real life and what they handle like in the ground handling. And I did one test flight in this airplane, and I was kind of blown away. And look, is that a female first officer? Hey, that works for me. All right, when I was corporate, I was single anyway, so... All right, let's hop into this beautiful bird, guys. We're going to get in this Phenom 300. This is the G1000, and I can't recall. I think we had G1000s in the one I demoed. I don't think the G3000 was out yet, but I know you can even get the G3000 in these aircraft. But it's absolutely astonishing, and you're going to see all the fun little integrations here. Like, we've got the Avi tab, you've got your ground options and V-speed. So before we get too carried away, let's at least get this thing powered up here. So we're going to come down here to our electrical panel. We're going to go ahead and go... Battery 1, battery 2. I'm going to make sure my battery switches are on my honeycomb yoke. And we're going to go ahead and ground power unit attach. Listen to that ground power fire up. The sounds on this airplane are second to none, guys. I'm telling you, the sounds are going to blow your mind if nothing else. So we got our ground power on. And let's go ahead and connect to the GPU. Get my avionics switches on the honeycomb yoke. So one thing, if you guys do purchase this airplane and you're flying it with the honeycomb yoke, make sure that you do turn your master battery switches and your avionics on your honeycomb yoke as well. All right, so Phenom 300, there we go. We'll go ahead and clear that off. We got a slew of CAS messages here, crew alerting systems. That's fine. And we got a 43-second alignment down there. Let's go ahead and come over here and begin our flight planning. So you can see I already did kind of a test flight here. We're going to delete this flight plan, and we're going to throw in another one here. So we're going to delete that. MRY, and let's see. Let's pull up our route of flight. So MRI is Monterey, California. We're going to fly down to Montgomery. So I keep getting the MRY and MYF. You got to get them. Don't want to confuse those. Anthony Anderson that says, of all the stuff V1 has made me buy, $45 is not bad. Hey man, this I will tell you, you'll just see. You'll see. I'm not gonna say about it. I'm gonna show you how awesome this airplane is. So Hagro intersection, we'll go ahead and hit enter. Very easy to manipulate. Everything's very snappy. There's no lag. There's no mouse lag. Everything is very, very crisp and very finished feel. We get a lot of airplanes. Big Sur, we'll go ahead and enter that. We got a lot of airplanes released that just don't have that finished feel, but this one definitely does. Kind of like the I&I aircraft, they feel very finished when they come out. This one, it feels very clean. So zonal TOC Peggers is the next intersection here. Having this keyboard is so nice. And if you guys have flown G1000 and you try to enter airways and you don't have a keyboard and you just have to scroll, it's kind of like T9 texting for some of the older guys out there. Gosh, I can't believe I'm even saying that. RZS Romeo Zulu Sierra. Where's the Z? Oh, there it is. Romeo Zulu Sierra. Enter that. top of descent, then we're on LAX, and then it's Jet 1, but essentially it's just one fix, so you're pretty much direct to Oceanside VOR. We'll go ahead and enter that, and then read in intersection. But see how quick and snappy everything is? It's awesome. And then KMYF. And then we'll load up an approach. We'll shoot the, I'm tired of doing ILSs, so let's go ahead and load the RNP, I'm sorry, it's not RNP, it's an RNAV, 28 right, LPV approach, and we'll take it off of, we'll just load it from Barrett, and we'll keep the minimums off for now. We'll just load it and we can adjust it. So there we go, boom, flight plan is done just like that. Pretty sweet. Let's go ahead and take a look at our electrical. Everything is good. Fuel. We do need to fill up the airplane here with some gas. So, I don't know how to do this, but check this out. This is what I'm talking about, you know, finished product stuff. So, we're going to go to camera to fuel. We're going to open fuel panel, and we're going to camera over to the fuel panel. This is kind of like the Airfoil Labs King Air. So, I'm going to open that. Now, I have no idea how to do this. Normal. Battery. Weighting. Total fuel quantity. Left tank. Okay, here we go. We can fill them up left and right. So I want to do, we need 900 pounds each, which is about 1,800. So let's go ahead and do this. This is the first time I've ever done this here. I don't know. I hope I'm doing this right. But I mean, look, this is the detail I'm talking about. Now, here's the thing. We have to be very light, basically coming in with reserve gas into Montgomery if we want to stop this thing. So we're going to do 1,850 on the fuel. Okay. And there we go. And it's fueling. Check that out. I hope that's how you do it. I just did it there. We should be able to see our fuel coming up. Look at that. Niels says, you know you're getting older when it takes a moment to compute T9. You got it, Niels. Definitely, man. Yeah, back in the day, well, not back in the day, and there's a lot of G1000 still flying, but if you fly G1000 and you don't have a keyboard, to put in fixes, if you get an airway that has a bunch of waypoints on it, the only way to load it is to load each waypoint. So you're there scrolling, I mean, your fingers are like zip, 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 and you're trying to load all the waypoints in on the airway. Scroll Sure Shock, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream, dude. Glad to have you on board. Chuck Blake, have a good one, man. Take it easy. Scotty P says, morning, great plane. Been flying it all week. Scotty, it is a fantastic airplane, man. All right, so it looks like we got 1,800 pounds. So if we come over here, that looks good. All right, we're going to take, and we got freedom units too. All right, so we're going to take 2,000 kilos, which is 4,400 pounds. Yeah, that's what we want right about there. Right about there. So we're pretty moderate loaded airplane. We've got a little bit of gas. We don't even have half tanks, but we need to really watch our fuel burn on this one. So that's good. We're going to go ahead and close the fuel panel. So we're pretty much loaded with that. Now let's go ahead and continue with some of the rest of our pre-flight startup here. What we can do is I can go over here to Avitab. I can arrow back, charts. Oops, sorry, wrong run. Oh, no, it is charts. I just got to close that. Manuals, and I've got my normal checklist here. Rotate, and I'm just going to pop it up full screen so we can see what we're doing here. All right, pre-flight test completed. Oxygen bottle, passenger auto. So let's go ahead and get that. Passenger auto is there. Electric panel, 27 volt test required. We do have bleed panel all auto. So the bleeds are coming over here. Pressurization, that's ECS. We'll leave that. Air conditioning auto. That can stay off. Bleed, auto, auto, cross bleed to auto is set. Fuel panel, pumps, auto. And cross feed is off. Checked. Hydraulic pumps, shut off valve. They should be closed. Oh no, both open. The hydraulics, get the hydraulics on, we'll get the hydraulics on. Listen to the sound. Sticker cutout, stick pusher. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Ice protection, that's off as required. We don't need it. Engine, fire panel. Everything is over here. Lights out, that looks good. Start, stop, off, ignition, both auto. Flaps and speed brakes up, closed, parking brake set, doors. Okay, so that's pretty much all we need to do there. Let's go ahead and do our rotary test real quick. We'll do our fire test. Press and hold. We're looking at the fire on the cast. We're looking at the lights down there in front of the throttle quadrant. The lights are coming on. Alright, and we can do a baggage smoke. You see the cast message. Annunciators. There's the cutout and a couple more. Stall protection. Ice protection. Alright, we can go ahead and bring those back. So that has been completed. Let's go back to our more options here. Oh no, let's go ground options. Let's go ahead and remove the static elements. We're going to close the baggage aft. We're going to close forward. We're going to close that. And we'll go ahead and close the passenger door. One thing about this Phenom 300, it has probably the best, some of the best ramp appeal that I've seen when you're walking around ramps. If you guys are out there flight training and you're going into light airports, or, or small airports, which mostly corporate jets and light airplanes, when you see a Phenom 300, you know it's a Phenom 300. It just has a very sleek, almost has kind of a Learjet nose to it. It's got a little bit of a Hawker, I think kind of a Hawker wing fairing here, and then you got this beautiful T-tail that can really hurt you if you if you stall that thing trying to land. But VREF and landing on ref is very key in this airplane with the swept wing. We're going to talk all about aerodynamics of this airplane once we get in cruise. I just kind of want to get us airborne because we do have a little ways to go down the Gold Coast. But I mean, just look at that airplane. It is just so juicy. I can't believe it. Is this a new product for Xplane? Yes, it was released. Was it released a couple days ago? Last week? I feel that the release of this airplane was overshadowed by the CRJ in FS2020. And personally, I don't like CRJs, but we're still going to fly it because, it's the first jet for FS2020. But this is an airplane that I do like. And just look at the textures. I mean, everything. I wish you guys could see this in HD, but we'll do a full-blown cabin tour when we get airborne. But it's all there. All right, we got a couple more cast messages. We should probably get our gens in auto. Those are on. Emergency lights not armed, so I need to arm those. That's up here on the overhead. We're going to go ahead and arm you. Nav lights should have been on. That's my bad. Let me turn those on. Nav lights are on. Panel lights are set. Let's come over here. Fuel. We are loaded and balanced. I feel like that's not enough gas. Let's do that. 950. I hope that's enough gas. I think that's enough gas. All right. 950. And fuel is balanced. That looks good. Anti-ice is off and the status page. Cool. All right. I think we're pretty much ready to start. You guys ready to start this thing? Starting this airplane kind of blew my mind back in the day when I first started. He's like, hey, you just move the start switch over to start. Everything's idle, ready to go. And we're going to start engine 2 first off of the GPU. So I'm going to go start, and then I'm going to go to outside view so we can hear it. Listen to that sound, man. Absolutely love it. So if you guys have been following along in the corporate jet series, which has kind of been on pause for a while now, we start engine 2 on the GPU. That way they can come over here and disconnect it, and then we'll fire up engine 1 on a cross-bleed start so you don't have to deafen the rampers. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that same method is used with the Phenom 300. That's what we did in the citation, so we're going to just go ahead and model that here. So we've already got a good start. We can go ahead and disconnect from the GPU. We'll have them pull the ground power, and we'll have them close the GPU panel. Once that's closed, we can go ahead and start engine 1. Look at that, just as simple. Turn it over, boom, she fires up. Mo SD says, I can't wait for their Falcon 8X. Are you telling me these guys are making a Falcon 8X? I did not know that. I know nothing about Aerobask. I'm probably going to be checking out some more of their products. But this one, it's pretty much blowing my mind from the get-go. All right, we can go ahead and declutter you. We got 2 good starts. We're going to go ahead and go auto, ECS to both. All our cast messages are clear because we don't have... We did our stall test. You don't do your shaker test, you'll get a cast message up here. You'll be like, how do I get rid of that? And it's just because you got to do your rotary test down there. All right, everything else looks good. I'm going to check the weather real quick here. We should probably pick that up. I'm not going to listen to it. We're just going to check it out here. 10 miles, 3020 on the altimeters. 3020 is set. Now I wish I could sync this. I think that's one option that I don't see them. Oh no, that's G1000. It's cross-linked. There we go. So I'm going to change the standby. 3020 initial altitude. We're going to take it up to 310. We don't have any ATC around here. That's totally fine by me. We are on VATSIM, by the way. And we should be on Unicom, which would be 22.8, right? 22.8 is green, so we're on Unicom. That looks good. They're making a Falcon 8. Okay, well, I'm literally probably going to buy that on day one then, because if it's anything like this, and we're going to talk about it here right as we taxi out, we'll go flaps to 1, and let's run a checklist after start checklist. GPU disconnected, volts are good, stall protection tested, takeoff data. Ooh, yeah, we got to set that. All right, so V-speeds, I'm not going to give you guys a full-blown tutorial on how to read these charts, but we'll do a quick one here. So right now we're 18.5, so we're 8.4 kilos. So the only problem I have is they give you the manuals. I believe it's on page 63. Oh, no, it's not. Flaps 1, dry runway, ice protection off, ATR off. Wing, stab, and engine. This is what we want. So it's 0. It's pretty much a standard day. And what did we say our weight was? We said we were 8.4. So they don't give me freedom units here. You have to do kilos here, which that burned me on one test flight. So we're 8.4. Always go for the heavier one. So we'll say 8.6. So 103, 103, 115. That works for me. 103, 103, 115, and, well, 104 is fine. 115, and then approach is, we'll leave VAC at 130, and then we don't have to worry about landing VREF. Okay, so V-speeds are set. Let's go back to our checklist. There we go. Rotate you back over. Perfect. All right, our V-speeds are set now. We're up to 310, and winds were calm, weren't they? Light variable, yes. Yeah, so we're going to take off facing the ocean. All right, brakes released, taxi light on. And here we go. First time I ever taxied a jet was right here off of this ramp, Monterey Jet Center. Almost the same exact parking spot, so this is pretty nostalgic for me to be doing this. Listen to those sounds. All right, so let's make sure we know where we're going here. We're going to come right, we're going to exit the ramp, and then we're going to taxi all the way down. So we're operating this flight as .com 357. For those that don't know, when you fly corporate, if you have a tail number that your boss doesn't want anybody to be able to track, you can just do an anonymous call sign, and basically all the anonymous call signs were .com. So we're .com flight 357. We should probably pull up the airport page here, KMRY. It's a 59 page, isn't it? Or is it 10.9? All right, we're going to take Alpha down to 28 left. MontereyTraffic.com 357. We're going to be taxiing Alpha 28 left, Monterey. Slam Cannon says you may already know, but you can manipulate the altimeter and altitude by running your mouse pointer over the G1000 screen. Yes. Yeah, so I did find that out. I think that's little things like that kind of, I just like, wow, like you can change your heading here. See, look, I'm just mouse wheeling my heading on the G1000 by putting my cursor over the heading knob on the G1000 display. So it's really clean, really clean, really crisp, really easy to use. One thing that I was really astonished by here is the ground handling. So any light jet and even light props in the sim, they just don't ever feel like they taxi right. It feels like you're either taxiing a toy airplane around or it's pretty much a toy airplane. That's where all the developers kind of fall short, I think, is the airplane just feels too light and spongy on the ground. in real life, they don't feel like that. Even, a light jet, you can be in a Citation Mustang, and it actually taxis pretty stable. So this Phenom is probably one of the best ground handling airplanes for light jets that we have in the sim. And I'll even go, with light props too. I think the King Air, Airfoil Labs King Air 350 and this corporate jet right here have just absolutely hit the nail on the head when it comes to in terms of ground handling. Now the Phenom 300 is pretty unique. Well, not super unique, and I think other corporate jets have this too, but it has what's called brake-by-wire. So it has a very, very highly efficient braking system. As you notice, there is no thrust reversers on these engines, so that was kind of a downside. I always like popping buckets out from the Citations, but no thrust reverse in the Phenom 300, but it has very efficient brakes, kind of a brake-by-wire system going on. So having the proper ground handling and ground friction was key, and from the few landings that I've made and what I would expect from this airplane, it's right on the money. So I'm highly, as you can tell already, I highly recommend this airplane if you're looking for a very light jet aircraft. And besides, the textures are phenomenal. Tobias says the keyboard panel can also be popped out and supports keyboard inputs too. Wow, so you can just pop this out and use keyboard inputs. That's pretty sweet, man. It's so crisp and clean already that I don't even feel like I need to do that. Some airplanes we have, if you're typing in the MCDU or the FMS, it just almost, laggy or just doesn't feel crisp, right? So you end up using the keyboard, which is fine. This airplane, manipulating the 3D cockpit is so crisp that it doesn't even faze me. I don't even think about it. Where's MRI and MYF? So Robert S., MRY is Monterey. We're in Monterey, California. And MYF is Montgomery Field, California. It's down by San Diego. So I was going to talk about this more in cruise, but essentially why I'm choosing Monterey as the departure airport is because this is the first airport I ever taxied a jet in, the first airport I ever did my first takeoff and landing in a jet. It was a Citation Bravo, or actually it was a Citation 550, was at this airport. And actually right about here on the taxiway on Alpha, the guy that was training me, he says, "Man, you're doing a great job, but you taxi like a little bitch." So that's when I started, okay, I got to taxi a little bit faster. But I have a picture. I think I posted it in one of the podcasts, my first time ever flying a jet right here in Monterey. And I was taxiing too slow for his liking. But hey, I always say you only taxi as fast as you want to hit something. So that's why we are taking off here. And why we are going to Montgomery Field is when you're flying. So when I flew corporate, I flew for, it's called Part 91. Jeez, it's been so long, I couldn't even think about it. So Part 91 operation is essentially you have somebody who owns their own airplane, and either they fly it or they want you to fly with them, or they own an airplane and they hire pilots to fly it for them. And it's not, I don't want to say it's not regulated, but it's a lot less strict on certain things than you would find in a fractional carrier, such as a Part 135 operation. Some of you guys are probably familiar with NetJets or Travel Management Company, or those are all what we call fractional operations. They have, some of them have scheduled and unscheduled. We can go into a whole spiel, but Part 91 is kind of Wild West. They say, here's the keys to the airplane, and get me from A to B without killing anybody. That's kind of what Part 91 is. It's the Wild West of corporate flying, and I loved it. And that's what I did. That's what I cut my teeth on. That was when I transitioned into jet aircraft. And honestly, that's what I wanted to do, or that's what I thought I wanted to do for my career in aviation. But I soon found out I was having way too much fun, and I wouldn't have been able to hold a steady relationship and eventually end up getting married and having kids. So I ended up settling down and going the airliner route. But if you find the right gig on Part 91, it can be a lot of fun. Sam says, I'd stick with this for streams over the CRJ for now. This is astonishing. Yeah, you know what? We are going to be flying this a lot more. Wow, we got a nice hill here, courtesy of Orbix. I don't believe it's this sloped here. It's not this sloped here in real life, but we're pretty sloped on this Orbix scenery. Yeah, I know a lot of you corporate guys voted for professional pilots voted for the CRJ. There's just been so much CRJ stuff going on right now. I kind of wanted to break from the norm. Alright, we're taxiing out here. Let's take a look at our checklist before we get all the way to the end of the runway. Before takeoff, takeoff config. So, takeoff config.
Okay.
Takeoff okay. CAS is clear. Signs. PFD or PED's belts off. That's set. Yaw damper is off. Ice protection is off. ATR is not green. I gotta figure out how to get that green. Passengers advised, externalize as required, transponder altitude. We'll squawk altitude. You know, we're going to take off from right here. Alright, let's go ahead and turn all those up. And we should have been squawking altitude the whole time. There we go. Transponder altitude is set. We'll line it up on the runway. Now, the one thing, maybe you guys can help me out, is to get the Toga flight directors, I pressed this button, but I couldn't find a binding in the sim for it. I'm sure there is, because I think I saw one guy on YouTube, I think it was Aerobask, one of the Aerobas guys, just use a binding. I just couldn't figure out what the binding was called, so I ended up just pressing it on the throttle quadrant. Maybe you guys can tell me what it is. It's not a huge deal. All right, we'll line it up. I love the G1000. Push to sync. Runway heading checks 280. We're going all the way up to 310 on departure. We'll just do a kind of a left-hand climb out down the coast, and we'll get out of here. Does the synthetic vision work? Yes, it does. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go there. So now you see I got takeoff flight director. So I don't know why I couldn't find that binding, but here we go. At FADEC, very easy to control. We're just going to pull it right up into the Toga. Stabilized. Toga. Auto ATR is green. Captain Chia, what's up, man? $80 knots, thrust set. V1 rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Listen to this flyby sound, guys. Yeah. That sound alone is, I'm going to go roll 400 feet. We'll go flight level change. And we'll do heading 240. Flap 0. Clean it up. This airplane just hand flies so well. Alright, let's spin that heading bug. So I have my heading bug bound. We're going to come to 180 there, trim it down. We'll eventually start climbing out at 220, I believe, is the best climb. Let's do another flyby. Check this out. That sound alone, man. Anyway, Captain Gio, I saw you tune in there right when I advanced the power up. Glad to have you on the stream, man. Hope you're doing well, Gio. Hope life is good. Hope the family is good, man. Glad to see you on the stream, my friend. All right, let's go ahead and direct us here. Flight plan. We're just going to go direct, Hagro, nav, autopilot, yaw, damper, and she's turning. We're flight level change. Let's continue to clean it up here. We'll do 170. Spin that heading bug around. Actually, you know what? I don't want to go all the way to Hagro. Let's go direct Big Sur. There we go. Try not to make a lot of turns here when you're a corporate guy. Make it smooth. Slam Cannon says it looks like it handles smooth. Slam, it handles extremely smooth. So that's my big gripe with the light aircraft in the sim. It feels like these guys make these airplanes, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but they think, well, it's a light aircraft, so it should handle extremely light. That's not necessarily the case. I remember the first time I flew a light jet, and I came out of, a 172, And I think at that time the biggest airplane I flew was a Seminole, right? Just a twin trainer. And I was astonished by how much heavier the aircraft felt just from that alone. And it honestly, when you fly like, you know, some of the Coronado stuff, they've got really pretty models. Bye. Bye. My little girl learned to say bye, so she says bye now. But the airplanes feel like like the Coronado planes that are really pretty looking and they don't have a lot of systems depth. Minus a few here and there, they just feel almost spongy to me and almost like they are kites. You know, it's a paper airplane. That's not how light jets feel. Light jets actually have some weight to them. You can feel inertia. You can feel momentum. Now, the Phenom, I remember it had that kind of a pop off the runway feeling, which is, I think, is simulated very well here on this airplane. As you get to V1 rotate, you rotate nice and smooth, and it kind of pops up off the ground, and that's what I remember flying. Now, when I did the demo flight, we did a takeoff. You fly around, get to see the avionics a little bit, come back around. Basically, it's for the customer who's going to buy it. So the owner that's looking at the airplane, get to see the cabin, the space, and all that. There's 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and clear up some lights here. But I do remember that kind of pop off the runway feeling, and then landing is a whole nother thing. We'll get to that. All right, we're at 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and bring our thrust back to climb. I've been sitting there in Toga for a while. All right, TT, I think 745 was max, so we're still good. We're below that, but we're in climb power now. Don't hydraulic flight controls feel very different by nature? Sam, that's true, but I remember like the citation. So it's not... I'm trying to think, was it hydraulic? You still have cables. I'm trying to remember which model citation. I know there's a few light citations that the hydraulics, you have what we call like a rudder bias. So if you lose an engine, you get hydraulic assistance to the rudder to maintain directional control. But a lot of times, I mean, you're still feeling that traditional, I guess, flight control surface feel. Like as you accelerate in speed, the aircraft becomes extremely harder to maneuver the control surfaces than it would, you know, like the Embraer, for example. It pretty much, you could feel that mushiness in the ailerons because the ailerons aren't fly-by-wire. But as you got faster, it was a little bit firmer, but you could still tell, even when you're slow, that it's not, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It really is hard to explain. But I mean, like, I'm trying to think of an example. What's an airplane that we have in Xplane that I like, you know, the Citation 550 that Coronado has? I think with a lot of settings tweaks, you can get it to work right, but it just feels like you can rip it around the sky, like roll really hard, pitch really fast, and it's got that spongy feel to it. Real airplanes don't feel spongy. This airplane does not feel spongy. I guess that's the best way to put it, is that you don't feel spongy. Does the FADEX system seem pretty well done, Slam? Yeah, honestly. So you have your 4 settings. You have max cruise, continuous, climb, takeoff, go down power, and then max reserve. So I don't know too much about the whole max reserve. I don't know what it's really used for. I know you have your ITT limitations. I can imagine, you know, terrain or something like that. Or if you really need the performance. The power to weight ratio on the Phenom is pretty darn good. I mean, the amount of power that you get for the weight of the aircraft. I mean, we're doing 2,400 feet a minute here, 205 knots. I'm actually going to bump that up. We're going to go about 220. But the FADEX seems very, I mean, you just put it in the detent and you just let it go. Look at 90.6, 548, and we're doing just fine. Now, when you get up to cruise, max cruise is indicated here. You may pull it back a little bit outside of that. There's 18. We'll set standard. (2992) standard set. Michael says, V1, will you fly the Concorde one day again? Oh, you know it, man. Neil says the Phantom or the Phenom looks really good. Looks like a great deal, especially when I sit and slum it in the Just Flight Aero. Yes. So the Just Flight Aero is another one of those airplanes that I think is really well done, but I think there's a limitation within FS2020 that's giving airplanes a weird flight control feeling, and especially down near the ground. I think it's Azobos. They need to work on their ground effect. I think that might have an issue, causing a lot of issues, but that sponginess I can feel a lot more in FS2020. Here in Xplane, when you have a properly modeled airplane, you don't feel that sponginess at all. And I think that's why a lot of guys don't like flying light jets in Xplane 11, because they just feel like, oh, it doesn't feel realistic. I'm telling you, this feels extremely realistic. Kevin Cannell, STDs for you and me. You got it, man. Once we get up to cruise, we'll go through the cabin. There's some really cool stuff. All right, let's just make sure we cleaned up here. After takeoff, landing gears up, flaps up, yaw dampers on, thrust levers, MCT. So that's kind of what I forgot. We went all the way up to 10,000 feet there in Toga thrust. Oops. Pressurization is checked. Altimeter's cross-checked. Eye protection is recording. External lights are off. So that is good. We'll get rid of you. I'm going to pull up the performance manual here. We'll look at that in a little bit. But we can verify that the cabin is climbing 500 feet per minute. Delta P is 5.8. I mean, so well done. Here we go, and you can minimize that. Some of the older guys may like that. But it's much easier to read here. So, as we climb up to 31, let's talk briefly about what the Phenom's main goal is, right? So, in my opinion, kind of what I was told from the demo guy, this Phenom is a single pilot airplane. You can fly this aircraft single pilot. So I was flying for a guy who we operated two crew airplane, the Bravo, single pilot. Sometimes we switched and we did, multi-crew. One owner, so there was two owners on the same jet. One owner didn't care. He would just go single pilot, and the other owner preferred that there would be two pilots flying him. Now the Bravo, by definition, is a two crew aircraft. However, you can get a single pilot waiver specifically for the Bravo, so you could fly it single pilot. Now it can become a handful. So the Phenom comes in as a light jet that has more speed, decent range, and I say decent range because you have to think about payload. If you don't have a lot of payload, you can fill it up and you can get a lot better range out of it. But payload is a big deal when it comes to a personal airplane, right? Because if you want to take all your friends, you want to take all your golf bags and all of your bags, you got to make sure you have a decent amount of payload and still be able to carry fuel, right? So you have that useful load is what a lot of you guys are probably going through training right now. You learn about useful load of an airplane. What's the useful load? So it's got excellent speed, decent range, a decent useful load, but it's rated single pilot. And how can you get an airplane that's faster and arguably more advanced and still get a single pilot waiver for it? You have to introduce an easy way to manage the airplane. So it's got an easy management system. You have your G1000, your avionics, and even I think a lot of them come with G3000 avionics, which is even more glass. This is all glass down here. So you have the G1000. You have your FADEC system, so you don't have to match. You're not really worried about matching the thrust, on takeoff. You just bump them up into Toga, and it spools them up for you. You're good to go. You're reducing that pilot workload. So flying the Phenom 300, just as an example, in the Bravo, if you guys were looking at that corporate series that I was doing for a little bit, we talked about pressurization, how you spin the dial, and then you got to verify the cabin is climbing. If you notice, I didn't do anything about pressurization in this airplane. We just got in, I loaded the flight plan, and we fired off. And look, it even has the landing field elevation already set, 424 feet, already pressurizing the cabin. I didn't even have to touch this. I just verified that it is, in fact, climbing and doing what it's supposed to do. So that's that automation that's coming into play on the corporate jet scene. I think this airplane came out, 2009? I think when they first started rolling off the shelves. So the automation level is fantastic. So this airplane does a lot for the crew, and it reduces that workload for the crew. And what the airplane does, it does extremely well. So it does extremely well in engine management. It does extremely well in pressurization. It does extremely well in systems monitoring. You know, it's monitoring all your systems. You have CAS messages or crew alerting system or crew awareness system. Can't remember which one it is. You have your CAS messages that pop up when things go wrong. So it may seem like a lot, but when you come from a steam gauge airplane that's single pilot, this is a breath of fresh air. And I just kind of remember feeling that way, like, man, this is really nice, this airplane. I mean, it does everything. And just engine start. Move the switch over, boom, engine starts. Like, it is pretty good. We should have turned windshield heating on, I believe. Yeah, we want to do that. That's my bad. I should have turned those on. Got to warm those windows up. All right, I believe it's Mach 6.0 up to 31. Oh, I don't want to descend. That's my bad. So that was that's a bad pilot job right there. So when you're flying corporate, it's all about smooth, right? Small changes, subtle changes. All right, 30 for 31, 1,000 feet to go. Let's take a look into the performance here, and let's see what we need to go to. Takeoff analysis, no approach landing. Flight planning cruise, page 63. So I got to skip over to page 63 here. And as we level off, we'll bring that thrust back. Slam says it looks so solid after flying the CRJ in Microsoft. So that's kind of what, you know, I haven't even flown the CRJ yet in Microsoft. A lot of people are loving it, and that's awesome. I'm sure it's a fantastic airplane. Even Phantom, who flew the CRJ in real life, he says it's a really good airplane. They got some pretty good stuff modeled. So I'm not questioning that at all. I think it's just there's just some issues still at the core of the FS2020 platform that cause certain flight dynamics to just not feel right, especially down close to the ground when you talk about that ground effect. All right, so I'm going to bring this back to max cruise here. We're going to see where it settles out. And then we're going to look at some perf charts here. So here we go, max speed. That's what we're going for. From sea level to 410, it'll take you 27 minutes and 990 pounds of fuel. We're not going to 41 at 6.0 Mach. So cruise, 31,000 feet, 7.8 Mach is what we're looking for. We're expecting 343 kilos. So that's the only thing I got to say about about Aerobask, is they give me the option to use pounds and freedom units, which I love, but all your performance charts and all your manuals are in non-freedom units. So not a huge deal, but you just have to do a little bit of a conversion here. So 7.8 Mach is what we're looking for. And look, see, I can just scroll that up. And I'm probably going to do... Look at the savings, though. 185 versus 343. Or 183. Here's 31,000 feet. 80% N1. So that's what I'm going to aim for. We're actually going to dial that back. So let's bring our... Out of max cruise, I'm going to dial this back right now to 80... We'll do 80%. 80.4. That's close enough. See if we can save a little bit of gas. Fuel flow, we're doing 435 pounds per hour. Hope we have enough gas to get there. We'll do 79.8. All right, we're up at cruise. Let's do a flyby. Team Vodka says, I just bought it. I'll fly it later today. Well, after that flyby, whew, you may be flying it sooner than later, man. Check this out. Awesome. All right. Let's do a little cabin tour. Come around here. Beautifully modeled cabin. Uh-oh. Hold on. 25.8 for center. LA Center, good afternoon.com, 357, flight level 310.
.com 357, Los Angeles Center. Squawk 7202.
Squawking 7202.com 357. All right. G1000 squawking altitude there. So we're still climbing up here. 245 here. We'll do a cabin tour here as soon as we finish this radio contact.
.com 357, radar contact 12 miles north of the Morro Bay VOR. Maintains level 310.
Roger, we'll maintain 310.com, 357. All right, so that's us. Here we go, cabin tour. I mean, you talk about sparing no expense on detail. Look at this, guys, and I'm getting 52 frames per second, non-Vulcan, mind you. I'm not running Vulcan. This is 56 frames now. I'm running over HD Orbix, California.
619 RNAV Leland, wind
we're gonna turn that
320 at 8, gust 18, runway 26 right, clear for takeoff.
So you have our windows here. You can even play with the window shades if you'd like. I mean, that's just unbelievable detail. You come up here, you've got your look at this, you've got everything here, and it even has, I didn't know this, are you serious? I never noticed this. It has altitude,
welcome to McCarran,
departure,
right, taxi your gate, monitor the frequency, thanks for flying.
arrival 1453 Zulu. Are you serious? Are you serious? Unreal. I didn't even notice that last time.
At Circus, cleared ILS 25 right approach.
You can play with the tray tables. Look, you can have a cup of coffee here. I'm going to sit here and have a cup of coffee.
Delta 336, radar contacts the altitude.
You got the New York Times down there. What do they have on the front here? Lindenberg does it to Paris in 33 hours. Flies 1,000 miles through snow and sleet. Cheering French carry him off field. Wow. That's awesome. They got just the detail, man.
Right taxi via Bravo.
Alright. Into the lav.
Thanks for Charlie.
No mirror. I can't see myself, but I can see reflection of the cockpit. Here's the toilet. Oh my gosh, you could flush it too. You could flush the toilet. At least it wasn't a supersonic flush. Check this out, man. So I got some stories about the old lavatories on the Citation jets. Look at that view, man. Man, I might be in the crapper all day just to look at this one. This is the best view right here. You got the engine right here. You got the trailing edge. Look at the Gold Coast down there.
Alex, that's a good morning.
I can't believe you could flush the freaking toilet. I can't use the soap. You can wash your hands in the sink. That's amazing. Look at the shadow.
Provide 2167 pre-departure clearance.
Look at the shadow, guys. Look at this. I didn't notice that before. The shadow matches that. I mean, this is a new level of corporate jet right here, guys. Lock yourself in here. This is where I'd be standing here looking at this wing view all day. All right, let's get back up front here. Can't play with the snacks, unfortunately. 310, 257 indicated, doing 70 Mach. That looks good. All right, let's go outside for a little bit. So let's watch our ears. Wow. Deaf. Alright, had to turn that down a little bit. Jungle says if you open the tray table, there's a usable Avi tab. Wow. Slam Kenneth says the true test of sim detail, the lav. Slam, how many times have we tested laboratories on different airplanes on this channel? This is the first time, other than the supersonic flush on the Concorde, that I've been able to flush the toilet and wash my hands. I just can't use the soap. That's unsanitary, especially in the world of COVID, man. Come on. Model the water, but I don't have soap. No, that's what I'm talking about, guys. When I started flying this airplane around, I started noticing little things. You know, the checklist integration, the Avitab integration, the ground options, how to fuel the airplane. These little details will take what is otherwise I don't want to say simple, but a less advanced aircraft in terms of, you know, like the 727, I mean, you have a lot to model, right? You've got a bunch of different systems. It's all analog. A light jet, there's not too, as long as you have good avionics and a good flight model, That's pretty much what you need to do. But if you do all the other little things, like we've got the interior cabin functionality, you've got the fuel panel functionality, we've got wing flex out here right now, which it's too loud for me out there, man. I'm gonna just chill in here for a little bit. That's just too loud out there for my ears. You know, you start doing all these little things in top of having an extremely good flight model. I get blown away. I just like, wow, this is a really, really good airplane. So if you guys are wondering if I recommend this airplane or not, I definitely recommend it if you're looking for a light jet to fly. I think the light jet category has been neglected in Xplane 11, and there just hasn't been a lot of good light jets out there. I know, was it Just Flight did the Citation Mustang for FSX? I really enjoyed that airplane. I don't know what that emojis are about there. We're just going to remove that. But Neil said my thoughts exactly so. But yeah, so that's, I don't know. You tell me, guys. I think this airplane is really going to fill that neglected area in Xplane, that light jet category. And I want to fly this on stream a couple more times before we even get into FS2020. Thank you. It's nice airplane. I appreciate it, man. Wojtek, you still prefer the cockpit? That thing is a beast. The Falcon 8X. Yeah, the Falcon. That's one thing I wish I could have flown is the Falcon jet. Never did get to fly the Falcon. I think the Falcon 7X was in the talks. Actually, no, we were attempting to look at a Falcon 50. So.
Yeah, 5487 radar contact.
All right, let's talk about what I wanted to talk about originally. There is why we're going to Montgomery Field and what ended up happening here. So, when you're an owner on your own jet, you have your jet for reasons, right? You either are traveling for business a lot, and obviously you're going to go on some pleasure trips and some vacations. So you kind of already have a routine of where you like to go. The owner that I was working for, he really liked going to San Diego. We flew into Montgomery all the time. We flew into a couple short strips in Idaho. So the Citation that we flew is, you know, it's not very fast, but it's got a really good useful load, and the landing performance and takeoff performance is very good. Now, the trade-off is we got to look at wing design. So the Citation Bravo and the 550, or even some of the other Citations, they have what we call a straight wing. So you can just classify them as straight wing Citations. All the straight wing Citations have that very good takeoff landing performance, good useful load, but where does it lack? It lacks in speed. So you start thinking about, ooh, I want a faster jet. Enter the Phenom. Hey, it's faster. You could got a decent useful load. The problem then comes in your landing and takeoff performance. Now, for us in particular, one of the most frequent airports we visited was Montgomery, and there's a couple up in Idaho that we go to too. And if we look at the 10.9 page here, let's look at the. We don't need Monterey anymore. We need MYF. So let's look at this. Look at the wing just bouncing out there, absorbing all this shock. That's awesome. We got a 50-9 page here. So 2.8 right, 4,500 feet available, but that's kind of not true because you have a pretty large displaced threshold here. So 2.8 right.
Alaska 482, Los Angeles Center, squawk.
On Pappies at 3 degrees, usable landing distance. At the threshold, it's 3,300 feet. On glide slope, and if you know anything about Southern California, you do have a lot of overcast in the morning. You got a lot of those fog banks that roll in from the Pacific. You're going to be shooting ILSs quite a bit. On glide slope, usable landing distance, 2,637 feet. Now,
5323.
We'll look at the performance charts here in this airplane, but we knew right off the bat that that is going to be pretty tight. Now, you can get in there. There's no doubt about it. You can get in just fine. You can get out just fine, but you have to get in on certain weights, and you've got to make sure you're really watching your load. So when you're flying Part 91, there is no dispatch. There's no... Oh, look at this shot here coming in over the ocean. Over the coastline. you don't have dispatch, you don't have a whole slew of people on your team making sure that you've got the right loading and you got the right performance to get in and out. It's all on you. It's all on the crew. And of course, the owner has a big say in this as well because it's his life. He's sitting in the back. So we talked to him about it. We're like, look, man, here's our numbers in the citation. This is what we're getting. We can get in and out of here. I wouldn't say it's tight in the Bravo, but I mean, you just got to be on your game. You don't want to go in there, reckless. You just no float, get her down, and get her stopped. Not a big deal. Now you can do that in this airplane, but it's all about that load. I'm like, hey, if we go in here, we're going to be at this weight. We're only going to be able to take this much fuel. So it's really going to minimize what you can take on the airplane in order to get in there. Now, especially in California, when you're talking about having ILSs all the time in the mornings, you also have to plan fuel for an alternate. So if I'm going into Montgomery Field and I got to plan for an ILS and I also have to plan for a missed approach and I got to plan for the go around to the alternate plus additional holding fuel to be legal, I'm now taking a lot more gas than I may need necessarily, but that extra weight is going to really hinder me on what I can take into that airport. So after looking at the numbers, we ended up deciding, well, the other option is San Diego. You go into San Diego just fine. You got 5,000 plus feet, or I think it's even longer than that. You got plenty of room in San Diego to get in and out of there. But the problem is now you run into parking fees. So when you're flying 91, everything, like I said, everything is on you, right? And you don't want to just blatantly charge or just blatantly charge into an airport and park and pay the ramp fees, whatever it may be, because your owner is paying you. So you're trying to save him money. The landing fees in San Diego are astronomical compared to some of the other smaller fields around there. So I said, man, look at the landing fees here. This is all the additional costs that you have to look at when you decide I'm no longer going to go into this airport. What's the price of gas at the other airport? The landing fees. Is there tie-down fees, overnight fees? What else? What other fees are included when you talk about switching out of an airport that you're used to going in and out of? And at the end of the day, we decided that it just wasn't going to be the most efficient airplane to have for the airports and destinations that we wanted to go. So we skipped that. We decided against the Phenom, and I ended up eventually pursuing a different job. And as soon as I left, they ended up getting I think they got an XLS, and then after the XLS, they got I don't know what they're flying now, but they got a different airplane.
Climb maintain level 400.
Neil says, I'm in planning a group flight, don't even own it yet. Let's plan it. Plan a group flight in the Phenom. I think that would be a lot of fun, man. I'll fly it with you guys. Can you show the cockpit? Yeah, let's look at the cockpit. So let me
2487 altitude checks, climb be the SID.
I'm going to park you guys right here so you can just see the glass and the coastline. So what kind of difference is there in landing fees? What does that cost Team Vodka? It can be as small as, a couple $100, and I say small, but in the world of corporate aviation, a couple $100 isn't all that much. Or it can be a couple $1,000 difference. And where they get you is, well, okay, we can waive your first night, or we can waive a night, or we can waive your landing fees if you buy X amount of gas. Okay, so what's the gas prices at this airport? Gas prices at the new airport may be 75, 80% higher than what you would get at a different airport. So that's how they get you. It's all about, you really need to study economics, I guess, would be a good, or business, I should say. Having a business degree and then flying in a Part 91 operation is probably the way to go, because yeah, you can just say whatever and bill your boss, but at the end of the day, he's paying you. So at the first sign of economic struggle, and when things start to not go well, the first thing to leave any company or any business or any boss is the jet. So you want to keep your job, you want to protect your job, you want to be splitting hairs, you want to be looking at every cent that's spent. And that's what makes a good corporate pilot versus just the average corporate pilot. And that's how you build a good reputation within the industry as well. If your owner is like, hey man, this is my pilot, he does this, and this, and these are our costs, that word gets out, and people are like, oh, wow, this guy, you know, he actually knows, you know, he's looking out after me, so maybe I should, if he wants to, you know, fly some extra stuff, I'll hire him on the side. So you're always thinking about other things, not just flying an airplane when you're a corporate guy. And I'm speaking specifically to the Part 91 world. And Part 135, fractional charter, that's a little bit different. Operates a little bit more like an airline. You have dispatch, you have scheduling. You know, you have a little bit more available resources to you from the outside than you do when it's just you. Literally, like I said, here's the keys to the jet, and I want to go here, and it's all on you. If you're going to Europe, you're planning a flight all the way to Europe. You're on SkyVector. You're looking at AirNav. You're looking at all the different routes you could take and all the contingencies. So that's just how it rolls, man. The whole
Alaska 670 copy.
I said it at the beginning of the corporate series was the death of me would be rental cars. I mean, that is the biggest pain in the butt to deal with on a daily basis when you're operating Part 91 is coordinating rental cars, making sure it's the right size rental car for how many people you have on board. But it's also, it's kind of unique and fun too, right? You don't really experience that in any other job than you do when you're flying corporate. Look at that. We got our, this is the AirData Smart, oh no, it's not an AirData Smart Probe, I'm sorry. That's an ice detector, I believe. I believe that's an ice detector. John, what's up, man? Says, hi, everybody. Hi, everyone. Nice plane. Wonder how much one of these would set you back.
Yeah, 1424. Descend to maintain 7,000.
Let's take a look.
Approach runway 13 right.
It would set you back pretty good, man.
Sorry, can you repeat that for Scotland?
Don, what's up, man? Brandon M says, are you going to continue with the Airbus Xplane series? Yeah, Brandon, I'm going to continue working on it, man. I've been flying so much, man. In real life, I haven't had time for hardly anything.
Down to 7,000, visual 13 right.
Phenom 300, about 8.7 million. The total cost of ownership per 1 year of the Phenom 300 is 1.5 million, including market depreciation of 350,000. Or 2 million including book depreciation. So you're looking at 8.7 million just to get one. But I'm telling you, buying an airplane is one of the...
that was my mistake. Frontier Flight 2794. RNAV the Docker wind variable at 4, runway 25 right.
Buying the airplane is just the first expense, man. There's LA down there. Check that out. That's pretty cool. So once you buy the airplane, then you got to pay for a hangar, you got to pay for maintenance, you got scheduled maintenance on it, airworthiness. So there's nothing like, you know, managing an airplane and seeing how much money is actually spent elsewhere other than just fuel. Might be the fuel door you left open. Oh no, did I leave the fuel door open? Oh no, I did. No, I didn't.
Xplane 91, RNAV Bessie, wind 320 at 8-18, runway 1 right at Bravo, clear for takeoff.
It's closed, right? Fuel door's closed. Fuel door's closed.
Southwest 2452, climb maintain level 270. 270, Southwest traffic.
I'm going to turn this way down and go back outside because it's just really pretty to look at.
United 1424, cross the Sabono intersection at or about 9,000, then cleared, RNAV runway 13 right approach.
So out of 9,000 cleared for the RNAV.
There we go. So I can hear myself think. Jeez. John says I'd have to start robbing banks to afford that. Descend to 250.com 357. All right, we're down to 250 now, so we're going to set 250 here. Be able to manipulate that on the G1000 as clutch. I'm going to do a flight level change, and I'm going to just bring that thrust back a little bit. So you can toggle that option here. If you go more options, flight level change mode does not synchronize autopilot speed. I don't believe it did in real life either, but I have it doing it right now just for ease of use. You have to kind of manually sync your speed. But They'll just bring that thrust back a little bit. We're in flight level change. It's going to hold 7.2 Mach. We're down to 250. Things are looking good. I mean, how sweet is that, though, huh?
Del 276, climb maintain level 350. Climb maintain level 350.
Fuel door's on the right way. Yeah, it should be in. Is it in front of the? Yeah, right here, right? Yeah, it's closed up. We're closed up. We're good to go.
Del 336, runway 24 left, taxi via Delta.
I mean, the ramp appeal of this airplane, it just looks fast. It looks rich. It looks businessy. It's just a beautiful looking airplane, man. AJ says private planes for boat owners whose wallet isn't on fire enough. Thank you for giving us some insights on corporate flying. You got it, 777. When I got in this airplane, man, I've been kind of, it's brought me back, really has brought me back to when I first started getting into aviation. I'm not saying getting into aviation, but getting into the professional side of aviation, coming out of instructing. I'd been instructing for several years, and it brought me back to that point in my life, and it's a whole lot of fun. It's nostalgic, it's fun, it's extremely unique, man. There is nothing like flying a Part 91 corporate operation than anything in aviation. I mean, it is a very unique situation to be in, and it's a whole lot of fun, man. What's your favorite airplane you flew in real life? My favorite airplane in real life? Probably a King Air or Beech 99. I love the PT6s, man. PT6s, hard to beat. What's my favorite plane that I wish I could have flown? 727 for sure. All right, we're actually probably getting a little bit closer. Oh boy, our fuel is getting low. We're gonna need to dial that. Oh boy, we only have 740 pounds left. I think we made an oopsie on our fuel planning, guys. Oh yeah, we definitely did. Well, maybe not. We're just gonna have to dial the speed back. You don't want to see this. Fuel low level. Yeah, we should have been landing with fuel low level.
Garcia Delta Romeo Yankee pre-approach clearance set.
Oh boy, wouldn't this be something if we run out of gas? Here we go, Part 91. You don't have anybody to check your fuel. I just kind of winged it. I should have been more diligent about my fuel planning. We're going to level here at 2.5. We're going to see what our fuel burn is. You know, we do have SNA right there we could dip into.
Roger, flight 2167, rear contact, say altitude. Roger, flight 2167, altitude check.
158. So that's... Oh, we are getting... Well, let's look at our perf. Let's go Avitab. Let's go back here. Charts. Long range cruise at 250, 65% N1. So that's going to give us about 160 a side. So that gives us an hour. Well, we're pretty tight. Did you power off the fuel gauge? No. Does that make a difference? Scotty P, was I supposed to? I don't believe I did. Now that I think about it, I think we just let it fuel and then we started up and left. Are we leaking fuel? Surely we're not leaking fuel. Let's look at our fuel page here. Let's go fuel. We've used 1,000. No, we're not leaking anything because our fuel used is matches and we're pretty much equal, so we're not leaking. There's 1,000 to go. Michael R. says, my dad was a King Air pilot. When I get Xplane Airfoil Labs, King Air will be my first purchase. Michael R., you will not be disappointed. I will say, hands down, the 3 best aircraft in Xplane that are not airliners, so everything below airliner, that includes general aviation, corporate jets, anything in between. You've got 3 airplanes that you must have, in my opinion. The first one is the Airfoil Labs King Air 350. The second one is this airplane here, the Aerobask Phenom 300. And the TBM 900, 850. What do we have? I don't even know what we have. But the TBM is also an airplane that you must have if you like a single engine prop that's extremely fast. All right, 250, 184, 60% N1 will give us long range cruise. I'm going to dip it back. That's 178 pounds an hour. We've got 360, so we've got a little less than half. We've got about an hour. We have just under an hour of fuel. We're going to see if we can shorten it up here. I don't know if we'll be able to. I wanted to do the RNAV approach, but we may not be able to do the RNAV approach, guys. We may not have enough gas for that. So we're looking at 250, 65, or 104, 294 indicated. Oh, no, that's TAS. We're doing 351, so yeah, what's expected to come back here at 250, 310. We should get 310 on the true airspeed at 65%. So when interpolate that, we'll probably get 305 somewhere in there. Does it have an SD card? Yes, it does, Team Vodka. Look at this right here. No, you can't. It can't eject it. You can't eject it.
357. Descend and maintain 13,000.
Descend and maintain 13,000. .com 357. All right, down to 13,000. So let's just say that I.
.com 357. Montgomery altimeter 3021.
3021. .com 357. So let's just say that I totally made a mistake in real life, and we're dealing with this situation right now. What are we going to do? Well, we got to look at our options. First of all, legal. What is our minimum legal fuel that we can have for landing? We need at least 45 minutes extra gas because we're on an IFR flight plan, 91 regs. We need 45 minutes extra gas. So we are. If you go inside of that, that's an fuel emergency, which we are pretty much going to be getting inside of here. So in reality, what would I do? I would probably be discussing with the owner saying, you know, we may have to make a pit stop at, what's CRQ? I feel like I know that airport. Let's look at the maps here. I would probably be planning a pit stop. Oh, Carlsbad? Carlsbad? I think it is Carlsbad. Oceanside. So we'd be looking for either an alternate, or we'd be declaring a minimum fuel right now with air traffic control, requesting direct to the field. So we're probably going to do that right now. And LACenter.com 357. We're going to declare min fuel right now. We'd like to proceed direct Montgomery when able.
John 357, proceed direct Montgomery.
Direct Montgomery.com 357. All right, here we go. I'm going to go direct to the field. Direct to, enter. Now it's going to give me a little bit more information. So we're working through our problem. I know I've got Carlsbad Oceanside right below me if I need to get down there. With the current winds, I'm looking at 5 minutes en route. So if I see that, we're 5 minutes out, 24,000 feet. We're looking pretty good. Okay, so we're looking pretty good with that. I may just go ahead and continue. What is the weather down there on Montgomery? Now, if there was anything other than severe clear, we're probably going to just dip into Carlsbad right now. But what do we have? Sky clear. Wind calm, altimeter 3017. It doesn't get much better than that in this situation. So I'm going to make the decision to continue to the destination at this point. We've already declared minimum fuel. We're going direct to the field. At this point, I'm feeling good about it. But whenever you see amber, that's not good. I intentionally did not plan for this. So I didn't. I would have liked to see this. I'd expect this right on touchdown, or maybe after you're rolling out onto the ground roll, then you get your low fuel. But we're okay. It's not the end of the world. Definitely going to have a talk with the owner. Probably have a talk with me after this. I just want to be careful on my descent here. I'm trying to save fuel on the descent, but I don't want to give up too much altitude too quick. I would rather be high over the field and have to circle down than come in low and have to gas it and burn more fuel. But we're looking good here. I'm going to go ahead and start increasing that descent rate. We're 20 miles out, so I know we're good. I'm feeling much more comfortable now. I'm going to go ahead and bring the thrust to idle. We'll save that gas. We're going to keep coming down. We're doing 2,000 feet a minute in 3 minutes at 6,000 feet. We need to increase that. So I'm actually going to increase my descent speed here. 240 knots in the descent. And so we don't get hosed on it. Let's set 3013 now. 3013.
Skywest 5487. Turn left heading 290.
Just one sector today? Yeah, man. Unfortunately, just one. I'd love to fly another one, but you know what? Tonight, I'm having so much fun with this airplane, guys. Tonight, if you're a member of the channel, I may throw up a members-only stream. We might do another flight. We might take off out of Montgomery tonight. I'm really going to try to do it. I just don't know. Hopefully, the internet will be holding out. I was really nervous about the internet.
10 o'clock and 21 miles report field in sight.
We're going direct. We're looking good. 18,000. We should start seeing it up here off our nose. We're only 16 miles away. I'm going to actually go ahead and get the speed brakes out. Down we go. The Revenge of Phantom. You fired him every stream. I know, man. He's burning me now. Spider! Coming in with a $20 donation. Spider, thank you so much, man, for that dono. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. I'm glad to be back, man. If I had Starlink, guys, I would be streaming a lot more because the problem is I'm afraid, the stream peak times it's just not going to work, so I'm limited on when I can stream, and we'll keep that speed brake out. We're going to keep coming down. We're looking good. We're only 10 miles out. I think the field's right there. But thank you, Spider, for that $20 bomb, and I appreciate it, dude. When in doubt, blame Phantom. I'm blaming Phantom on this one. He did the fuel planning on this. All right, we're 1,000 to go. There she is, right there.
619, leave my airspace north. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Denver Center offline. Switch to advisory 122.8. See ya.
All right, let me keep coming down.
Delta 2580, leave my airspace north. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Salt Lake Center offline.
Oh, we got to do our V-speeds. Oh, shoot. I forgot about that.
Delta 2580, switch to get
.com 357 got the field in sight.
.com 357, clear visual approach at Montgomery. Current wind is calm and runway of your choice.
All right, we'll be landing 28 right. Clear visual approach, Montgomery.com 357. Thanks, sir. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start setting up for a base. Now, what I'm going to do here also is I'm going to go procedures. And what we'll do is I'm just going to straight up activate vectors to final. We got vectors to final activated. And I need to, I'm not worried about, in real life I wouldn't be jacking around with this, I would just do the visual approach, but since we're still on stream and I want to give you guys something to look at here. Vectors to final, Penny is at 2,500 feet, so let's go ahead and set 2,500 here in the window. 2,500 feet is set, and we'll go ahead and continue to come down a little bit faster. I need to get my landing performance numbers. Approach VREF. What are we looking at here? Ground options. Our current mass is 7.8 kilos. So.
1424, what's your current altitude? I'm not picking you up on the scope. We're showing at 3,000 if you want us to go higher.
Flaps 1-3. I want flaps full.
Yeah, why don't you climb to 5,000?
With wing anti-ice off. And what I say our weight was max 8.3. Oh no, total mass 7.8. Jeez.
170 at 4
Overweight 117, so we're still a little heavy. We got a lot of passengers on board. 17,000 pounds. So yeah, I screwed something up. 7.8, 117, 117, 133. So 117, 133.
Pre-park clearance set.
All right, that is set. Zoom the range back down.
Stockholm 357. Stockholm 357, wind calm. Runway 28 right, clear to land.
28 right, clear to land, .com 357. All right, here we go. Getting down 10,000 feet. Lights are coming on. I never turned the seatbelt sign on, but that's fine. Speed brakes are on. Here we go, all the way down. Dive and drive. So this is a bad corporate pilot right here. This is what you want to try to avoid, but how about that shot? San Diego in the background. This is what you want to avoid when you're a corporate pilot. Your boss does not like this. But Terra Max, thank you so much for joining the channel, becoming a commercial pilot. Exclamation point, welcome. For more information on your perks, glad to have you aboard, my friend. We're going to take it out past Nesty. Come left. Let's parallel the course here so we're not too tight. We got plenty of gas. We're just high right now. That's the problem. Yeah, I have 4,000 pounds of passengers and luggage in an 8-seater. Yeah, I screwed that up, huh? Yeah. Oh. You know what?
222, thanks for Charlie. Pre-approach clearance now.
I was looking for 2,000 pounds. See, kilograms. That's why you shouldn't even mess with it, man. You should just have freedom units. Freedom units is all you need. I was looking at that. I saw 2,000, and I was like, "Oh, we're 2,000 pounds." Yeah. No, we're at 4,400 pounds. I mean, I don't know how many sets of golf clubs we have, but we got way too many.
All right, United 1424, radar contact now coming up on thermal. Turn left, heading.
Can you dim down the placards light out, affecting the G1000 lighting? The placards. You want me to turn this off?
Los Angeles Center, American 1470, holding short 25 right, ready for takeoff.
I'm not quite sure what you mean by the placards lighting.
1470, RNAV, Docker, wind variable at 4, runway 25 right at Foxtrot, clear for takeoff. RNAV, Docker, clear for takeoff, 25 right, American 1470.
Keep on coming down. All right, there's 4,000. We're coming back up on the slope now. Screws in the fuselage are popping off. Team Vodka says, well, if we all just use vodka, or if we all just use metric, exactly. If we all use metric and vodka, we'd have no issues. All right, so we just passed Nesty, 1.4. I'm going to go 1,000 feet past it, and then we're going to turn into it and intercept. I'm going to slow down.
Southwest 2452, Lima airspace east, radar service terminated, frequency change approved, Albuquerque Center offline, switch to advisory, 122.8, we'll see ya. Order advisory, have a good one, we'll see you in about 2 hours.
Cleared approach, glide path, vector. Glide path vertical, not vector.
87 taxi via Bravo. 275 Bravo, Golf Yankee. Citation 9 CRJs.
Swing, baby, swing. We're going to shoot through the final here.
Citation 9 Sierra Juliet, runway 27, taxi via Charlie.
We're going to shoot through the final, then we'll rejoin.
Citation 9 Sierra Juliet. Golf Romeo India, Tango, Papa, ready for taxi. Delta 1413, cleared RNAV Zulu, runway 27 approach. Cleared RNAV 27, Golf Romeo India Tango Papa, runway 27, taxi via Bravo. Caution, multiple aircraft taxi.
Activate vectors to final. All right, we're on it now.
You're leaving my airspace to the north. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Oakland Center offline. Switch to advisory 122.8. See ya.
150 knots.
Bye. UPS 573 heavy radar contact. Send you the Jackie 2.
We got her down.
Send you the Jackie 2 UPS 573.
How much FPS will you get with a default scenery Tolas 321? Ooh, man, I don't know about about that card, but I'm sure it should be pretty good. All right, here we go. GPV coming down. Here's our glide path in magenta. There it is, glide path.
Climb and maintain 13,000.
So look, we still got the shoot and approach.
13,000 for American 1470.
I don't know why this course knob is... Oh, you know what? We're just joining because of the wind, I think. Sync the heading bug. There, it's coming in now. We're looking good now. We're looking good. Let's go back. Checklist.
Skywest 5487, welcome Palm Springs, exit right, taxi to the gate. Thanks for flying, we'll see ya. Alright, to the gate for 647.
Oh. Charts. Manuals.
Yeah, 1424,
checklist.
airport, 10 o'clock, 13 miles, port site.
Altimeter's cross-check. Barrow, we didn't set it because we're visual, but that's fine. Crossfeed is off. Exterior lights are set. Signs as required. Passengers advised. Landing gear, we'll do that. We'll do the before landing just here in a minute. We're still a little ways out, so we're just going to keep coming down.
We're looking. There we got the field site.
Dimitri, what's going on, man? Just in time.
Cleared visual approach from my
We're coming in on fumes, man. We're coming in on fumes. Love the Phenom 300. Fun fact, until recently, they were the largest single-pilot jet. That no longer belongs to the PC-24. I didn't know that, actually. That's awesome, man. That PC-24 is pretty fantastic.
Alaska 482, expect
get the gear down, slow down.
Approach.
Sync the heading bug again. So this glide path will actually take you down a little bit lower. It'll actually take you down to 3 reds. Which this field, we're going to come in 3 reds. I'm going to shoot for 30 feet is going to be my target over the threshold. So we'll see it on the landing performance. I'm going to shoot for 30 feet over threshold. We're going to come in a little bit lower than normal.
Golf Sierra Kilo, give me a call climbing through 3,500.
This airplane comes in very flat, almost no flare required at ref speed. You really want to be on ref. Can you use synthetic vision? Yes, you can. I'm not doing synthetic vision on this flight, but maybe tonight I will.
Wind calm, runway 27, clear to land, citation rolling downfield.
All right, autopilot's coming off. I'm gonna hand fly it. Get her into trim here. We're gonna start slowing all the way back to ref now. Glide path will probably get away from me a little bit, but that's okay. Ref speed is 117. Having a hard time slowing her down. I'm going to increase that rate of descent a little bit. I'm going to dip below the glide path just a little bit. There's our path, 1 dot. Okay, now I can shallow it out and let the airplane slow. There we go. There's our 1 dot. Now we're correcting. And we're going to slow her right back. 117 is what we're looking for. Back on the path. Ref +1. 2 whites, 2 reds. Just a little bit of juice here.
Sierra Kilo, radar contact, climb me the SID.
Ref -3, there's a little bit more power in there.
500. 300.
Los Angeles Center, American 1470 approaching.
She almost seems happier at 114. 117 might be a little fast.
1470, climb maintain level 290. Turn left direct clipper, join the Orca 5.
There's our 3 reds.
Turn left direct clipper up to 290.
I'm aiming for hopefully before the 1,000 footers. Just let her fly down. Whoa, a little gust of wind got me there. Spoilers, get on those brakes. Look at that, I was aiming for 30, we're at 25.
40 Los Angeles Center, squawk 7144.
Look at those electric brakes. Woo, got a little squirrely there on my brake pedal. Whoo! And that is why we said Montgomery would be a little bit tight. I was on those brakes, guys, and we're taking the exit here. 138 feet per minute, 3 feet from center line. We're at 25 feet above, so I even got a little nervous there. I dipped in at 25 feet. I was aiming for 30.
Romeo, Yankee, runway 27, line up and wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Welcome to Montgomery.
Golf Romeo, India, Tango, Papa,
Let's clean it up.
Transponder.
Whew, I want to see that replay.
Delta 1413, welcome to Limburg, exit left and taxi straight ahead to the gate. Thanks for flying, we'll see ya.
Runway 27 vacated and through the gate, Delta 1430, taxi service, okay?
So yeah, Delta 350, runway 25 right, taxi via Charlie 9 Bravo.
Whew, yeah. I love this airplane, man. That was tight. We had a nice gust of wind there, right there at the end. Feel that swept wing, man, and these Phenoms. Got to keep those wingtips up.
Yeah, 1424, wind 170 at 4 runway.
So what I'm going to do is, this guy's really busy. I think I'm just going to disconnect.
Golf Sierra Delta Romeo Yankee.
Yeah, we're just going to disconnect so we can taxi the gate. He's working a lot. We're here in a little podunk field nobody cares about. Landing lights on, strobe lights coming on. Let's cross and let's taxi to the gate. Now, fun fact, I can't wait to show you guys, and I don't know if I should even say this on stream, but so we used to park over here, Montgomery Field. Yeah, we took, I believe, I'll see it. Well, no, I'll know when I see it. But there's a narrow taxiway that I learned very early on in my career in 91 ops. That when I'm taxiing a jet, I need to have all attention outside, and I should not be dealing with anything else, such as cell phones or anything like that. So, no texting and driving. I learned my lesson on this airfield. Narrow taxiways out here. We're going to go all the way down. We're going to keep our lights on because we got to cross one more runway here. Is VATSIM better than Pilot Edge? Siska, so I like VATSIM for its ease of use, and it's free, of course. But if you're looking to learn, if you really want to, I guess you could learn with VATSIM too. But if you really want to focus on looking at your charts, looking at the frequencies, maybe doing traffic pattern work, and being called out when you mess up, Pilot Edge is for you. If you want to get your feet wet, I would even suggest maybe VATSIM. Get your feet wet, dabble in the VATSIM world, and then if you really, really want to focus in, go with Pilot Edge. Now, of course, Pilot Edge is only on the western United States, so that is kind of a hindrance. If you don't want to fly there, then you're going to be with, you're going to be better off with VATSIM because you have that global coverage when there's controllers online. Oops, wrong switch. Strobe lights come off, taxi light on. Dimitri says, is this plane overpowered? Those engines have over 7,000 thrusts each. Dimitri, it's insane, man. The power-to-weight ratio on this airplane is phenomenal. And I know it's good to see you here on the stream, man. I don't know when you tuned in, but I was talking about it earlier. This airplane flies so well. It is so believable. I did a demo flight on this airplane back in the day, and I'm telling you, I'm in love with this exact bird right now. We're going to be flying it on stream probably a couple more times because it just flies so well. It handles extremely well. The ground handling on this airplane is fantastic as well. All right, so here we go. We're taxiing in. Hey, there's a citation over there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so we taxied over here. This little house used to be a female there that I used to know. We used to hang out, worked here at Montgomery. But this airport, you're coming in here, a lot of flight training, a lot of light jet, lot of light aircraft around, busy airport, busy airspace. You got to be on your toes, man. But yeah, it's this taxiway right up here. So that would be Bravo, or no, Juliet. There we go. Yeah, Juliet, because Bravo's for the hangars. Taxiway Juliet. You don't have a lot of room to be messing around. So, the other Jason says, I'm flying at Montgomery Field today. Never expected to see V1. The other Jason, awesome, man. Yeah, I used to, dude, Montgomery Field, my old stomping grounds, man. I used to be in and out of this airport a lot. All right, so we're going to yeah, this is the taxiway right here. And I believe in real life, I think these hangars are a little bit closer. Or it might be these hangars over here. Anyway, we'll make the turn here. Look at, I mean, it turns so smooth. I feel like I'm actually taxiing this jet around. Q8 pilot gave it his Q8 seal of approval. I don't have one of those, but if I did, this has got my V1 bourbon approval rating is, you know, a 9 out of 10. And the only reason it's not 10 out of 10 is because all the perf charts are in kilograms. So you have to do conversions. And you can see I got burned on that. I thought we had 2,000 pounds. We actually had 4,000 pounds of cargo. So we got a lot of stuff in here. That's going to be interesting getting around this King Air. There's Phantom 320 trying to booby trap me there with parking this C90 not where it's supposed to be. Yeah, we're going to cheat to the right a little bit here. Ironic, in real life, it was right about here where I may or may not have allegedly almost went off the taxiway. Allegedly. May or may not have went off the taxiway right there on that turn coming into the ramp. Alright, so we're going to park it where we used to park in real life. We're going to park it right next to this 172. We're just going to whip it around right here. At least this one doesn't call you a retard. Brazilians are very polite. You got it, man. Alright, I'm going to cheat view here just because it's amazing to look at this airplane. A little differential thrust action. Baggage cart. Dimitri's going crazy. Driving that baggage cart around. Spin her around. I am blown away. I am blown away. We'll go ahead and set the parking brake here. And we're going to go pneumatics off. Electrical gens off. Gen 1, Gen 2 off. Oops, wrong button. ECS off. Windshield heat off. And hydraulics. Oh, wrong one. What am I doing? There we go. Left the taxi light on. Oh well. Listen to that spool down. Those are off, and battery 1, 2 can come off. Let's go ahead and open everything up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Montgomery Field. All right, let's take a look at the replay here. I want to see that. That was pretty interesting landing when we... I don't know if it was a gust of wind or what. Let's go ahead and zoom it in here. We'll hit play. It's rebooting. I'll throw you guys into replay mode. We got sounds in the replay. So the only thing that I've noticed here is the spoilers come up. I don't think they were up in real life. Let's speed it up here a little bit.
Autopilot test okay. TCAS test pass.
And coming down, dipped it down, slowed it down. Right about here. Let's play it. Let's watch from... This is what the passengers are looking at, man. Roger says, nice engine sound. The sounds are fantastic on this airplane. They really are. Pratt & Whitney all the way. Yes, sir, Dimitri, you got it.
200.
I love this Orbix HD Cali, too. It's really nice.
100.
Right there. Got blown to the left. We set her down. I'll take a 145. So a 145 with trailing link gear, not going to feel too hard anyway. Oh, I love the sounds. Here we go. Let's watch this. So let's see what happened here. Right about there. See? Whoa, a little wind. Set her down. That looked a lot rougher. But see how flat she comes down? Definitely not the best landing. But hey, I'll take it. Not a lot of room to spare at the end. Having a fuel situation, 154 jump and run. Yeah, I got to really be careful on that fuel next time. I'm going to do a better job. I'm going to do my own fuel planning. I'm not going to let Phantom do it. Boom. Is there an engine view? The closest to an engine view we have is back here. Actually, you know what? We'll do it from this one since we looked at that one already. We'll do it from right here. It's about as close as you can get from the lavatory. Does Orbix eat up frames? Not too bad, to be honest with you, man. I mean, I'm running a 1070, and I really don't have too much frame issues. This airplane is really good on frames. I mean, that's showing, what, 60 frames right there in replay while streaming. Orbix HD. Rich guy in the back was very pleased. Time to ask for a raise. You got it, Dimitri. Alright, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little Phenom stream. I know it's kind of off the cuff, out of nowhere. I really hope I can get some more streams at you this week. I know it's been hard to get content out. Been struggling to find the time to get anything done that's not, you know, in preparation for our baby and working. So I may be looking, if you're a member of the channel, be looking for a stream tonight. We may do another stream in this airplane tonight just because I can't get enough of it. But until next time, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you do like the content, hit the like button for me on the way out. Leave a comment below. What is your favorite corporate jet? If you're tuning in after a stream, after hours, what's your favorite corporate jet in real life? Until next time, guys, I'm V1. Stay safe. Stay healthy. See ya.